Wow, look at this. I want y'all to look at this. This right here is grade 8 Chris. And well, this is me after, but although you see me now. But this is who I am. I have a lot more hair, and well, this is the grade 8 version of me. You see, I love looking at photos like this, and as a matter of fact, I love looking at before and afters when it comes to my life. I refer to this photo because, as you can see, I was trying to breakdance, and before I began breakdancing, I was kind of a loner. I liked, to be by myself. But I quickly realized that if I wanted to breakdance, that I would have to have someone else there with me. So I invited my boy Mike and my mentor named Eggy, and we began to learn and improve together for a few years. You see, breakdancing actually built up my confidence and helped me build a strong bond even with my boy Mike and my mentor Eggy, who, by the way, are still in my life, and we can laugh about those times anytime that we get together, because we all know that today we can barely move now without laying on the floor tired for at least 10 minutes. Well, at least that is for me. I think we all love a good before and after, because if we're honest, most of us assume that people can't change. We think we're all just sort of the way that we are, for better or for worse. You think your sister will never stop borrowing your stuff without asking. Your brother will always be annoyed with you. Your parents will never be less strict with the rules in your house. Your best friend will always be talkative. Your coach will never stop yelling at you. The bully in your team, will always be a bully. And whoever it is, we see those people and often think they're just not capable of change. And truth be told, I think a lot of us apply this same line of thinking to ourselves too. If you're anything like me, you might want to change something about yourself, but you think it's too hard or maybe even impossible. Sometimes not changing can be good, especially if things are going pretty great for us. When we're making good grades or killing it in the term, or we're hanging out with the coolest kids in school, or we're surrounded by our friends, that's when we don't mind if things stay the way that they are. But when things are hard, when we're struggling with anxiety, or we're failing math, or fighting with a friend, or trying to cover up a bad choice, well then, we feel like things will never change. Maybe you feel this way because of the situations or circumstances that you're in. It's where you live, or it's the tension in your family, or the illness that you're battling, or the fact that your family doesn't have a lot of money. You see, these sorts of things feel difficult to change because, for the most part, you can't control them. You didn't choose them, and you can't do much to make them different. Or maybe you feel this way because of the fact that you're in middle school. The adults in your life seem to have a lot of control in your world. They get to decide a lot of the things that impact your life, like your curfew, if you're allowed to have a phone, who you can hang out with after school. And right now it feels like you don't have the power to change much of anything at all. You see, maybe you feel this way because of mistakes that you've made. You've lied, you've cheated, you've covered up bad choices, and now you feel like these things define you. You'll never be able to change or move on from those mistakes. Or maybe you feel this way because what you see in other people. Your mom, your dad, your best friend, your older brother, they haven't been able to change. You've been told a million times that things will be different, but, well, they're not. Nothing changes, and eventually you start to wonder if change is even possible. If those people can't change, why should we think anybody can change? You see what I mean? We all just sort of operate under this idea that things are just the way that they are, and because of that, whether we realize it or not, we're saying that we believe something else is possible. All this brings us back to the story of Zacchaeus. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking through an encounter Zacchaeus had with Jesus. Just to review, Zacchaeus was a guy with a bad reputation. He was a tax collector, which back then meant he was a really bad guy. He cheated, he lied, he stole, and all that made him the kind of guy that nobody wanted to hang around with. In most everyone's eyes, Zacchaeus was a bad guy who was never going to change. But then, Zacchaeus had a personal experience with Jesus. As you might remember, Jesus spotted Zacchaeus up in a tree. Out of the entire crowd, he noticed Zacchaeus. Then Jesus went over to him, called him by name, and even invited himself over to Zacchaeus' house. Now, of course, people were shocked. Look back at what they said in response to Jesus' interaction with Zacchaeus. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." So obviously this crowd thought that Zacchaeus was a sinner. And it seems like they thought this was all he would ever be. Because of that, of course, Jesus shouldn't be in this home. He shouldn't want anything to do with Zacchaeus. But as you might remember, Jesus made it personal by stepping in to love and get to know Zacchaeus, regardless of what other people, even Zacchaeus himself, might have thought. And look what happened as a result. But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I have cheated anyone out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." Talk about change. In this short interaction, Jesus didn't say much. He didn't give Zacchaeus a lecture or preach a sermon. No. He didn't call him out for his mistakes. He didn't limit Zacchaeus to sum up his bad choices. Instead, Jesus treated Zacchaeus like a person that he cared about, a person he knew by name, a person he wanted to hang out with, a person with the potential to change. And that changed everything. Because of what Jesus did for him, Zacchaeus was able to change. He offered to not just pay everyone back, but give them at least 4 times what he stole from them. His personal encounter with Jesus changed his life. And then it changed his relationship with the people around him. Zacchaeus was now someone who was committed to making things right. That was a change. And here's what I think is so cool about this story. Jesus didn't wait to approach Zacchaeus until after he changed. He looked at Zacchaeus before and saw his potential to change. And he looks at us the same exact way. You see, it's personal because Jesus knows your potential. He knows that no matter who you are, how old you are, what circumstances you're in, or what things that you've done, you have the potential to change. Your life can change. Things can be different. You have the potential to change. So what does that mean? Well, for starters, if you want to see change happen, the first thing you should do is start hanging out with Jesus. When Jesus spent time with Zacchaeus, it got personal. It helped him change. And it can do the same for us. If you want to see change in your life, start by spending time with Jesus. This can happen in all kinds of ways. Through prayer, worship, journaling, reading your Bible, spending time watching these digital shorts, or even talking to your parents at home. However you choose to do it, I can promise you that spending time with Jesus will help you change. Then look around at the people Jesus has put in your life. How can you help them see their potential? How can you encourage them to change? Remember, it's personal because Jesus knows your potential. And that's not just true for you, but for the people around you too. So, who in your life have you viewed like Zacchaeus? Who have you believed just can't change? This week, I want you to take a step to change the way that you see them. Pray that Jesus will help you see their potential. Ask him to make it personal with them like he has for you. Ask him to help you be a voice of encouragement towards change in their life. Because just like Jesus made it personal for us, he wants to make it personal to others. Remember, there is no age restriction for change to happen. As a middle schooler, you have so much potential right now. There's no limit. You simply have to start believing that change is possible. Zacchaeus climbed a tree to see Jesus. And something significant took place when he did that. It got personal. His life changed. And the same can be true for us. When we step towards Jesus, we open ourselves up to the potential of a big change. It's personal because Jesus knows your potential. And there's someone else Jesus has put in your life that knows your potential too. That's right, your family. They know you, they love you, and they want to encourage you to fulfill the potential Jesus sees in you. So as we wrap up this week, I would like us to think about this question and talk it over with a friend, an adult that you look up to, or your parents. What's one thing I want to change in my life right now? You know, it's been real. We've gotten personal. I just want to say much love, and I will see you next time.